All right, so today we're starting on subtraction of integers. So the first strategy we're going to use is the ability to use a number line. All right, so subtraction of integers using a number line. No vocab today. All right, so all you have to do is to go ahead and grab your homework that you got on your way in. Make sure you're on the worksheet one side to start with. Okay, first and last name up at the top. Okay, go ahead and put your period. And then, of course, go ahead and put the date. Okay. Very first problem I want to take a look at. Go ahead and let's go down towards the bottom. Let's take a look at problem number 7. All right, problem number 7. Okay, on last week's homework, okay, anytime, of course, you see a problem without a number line, we're going to need to build it. So we're going to go ahead and build it. I noticed that the first integer we're going to go to is -6. So I'm going to go ahead and build it. Just worried right now about getting it to -6. So -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. All right, I can extend it more if I need to in a little while. Okay, when we solve a problem, this problem says find the sum of -6 minus 5. Okay, and actually it should probably say find the difference because we're talking subtraction right now. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do what we just did last week, all right? And we'll call this step 1. Okay, now here's what I'm going to have you guys do. Put a little star by it because a lot of this lesson is going to be just like last week, okay? However, there's going to be a couple of differences, all right? So this is one of those differences. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to circle my integers with their value, meaning with the sign to the left or in the front. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and I have a -6. So that would have been like something that we did last week. Now, here's something else we're going to do today. We have a subtraction of +5. Okay, but for this lesson and to get you guys ready for the future, here's what I'm going to have you do. I'm going to have you circle the 5, but I'm going to have you circle it with the subtraction sign in front of it, like that. Okay, the subtraction is going to give the 5 a negative value. Okay, now if you remember last week, I said, remember we wrote down the notes, I said, anytime you have a negative number when we're graphing, remember I said it's just like subtraction. The arrow, it's telling you the arrow is going to go left. Now, it's also, you can also figure this, at least in this particular problem, it's still like subtraction of 5. We're going left 5, okay? So either way, but when you circle it, I want you to circle it like this. All right, I'm getting you ready for some future problems here. Okay? So after we've circled, we'll go ahead and call this step 2. And what step 2 is, I'm going to just group this all in one because we've been doing this for a while now. I'm just going to say graph. All right, so we're going to graph this with arrows. So the very first integer is -6. So remember when we graph, we start at the 0, and I'm going to go to -6 and stop there. Okay? Now my second integer, right, is 5, or -5. That means I'm going to go left 5 more, which means I need to extend my number line. So pause from my problem for a second. I'm going to go ahead and extend it. -7, -8, -9, -10, -11, -12. Okay, I could extend it more if I want, but let's hold off on that. So we want -6. We're going left 5 more spots. It's not saying go to -5. It says go left 5 more spots. So from -6, I'm going to go left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ladies and gentlemen, it ends at our answer. So we're going to make this a step to make sure that you guys remember to write your answer. Okay? Step 3 is write down your final answer, which is -11. Okay, questions on that? Okay, I'm going to have you guys try one out that's just like that. Okay, so here's the one I want you to try out. Try out problem number 2. Number 2. Okay, check in with you guys in about 30 seconds. Go. Okay, anyone need more time? Okay, give you a few more seconds on that. Okay, if you guys have questions about things, that's why I have you guys try some things out, because some things will pop in your mind. Right now, share with your neighbor. See if you guys can't come up with that answer. And then we're going to go over it as a group afterwards. So 30 seconds, go ahead and share with your neighbor. Go. Okay, really quickly, let's take a look at this, and then I'll let you ask questions afterwards. Okay, so here's what you should have done. Okay, you should have had your -4 minus 5. So the very first thing, if I look down here, right, is I circle my integers. So I have -4, and then I'm going to circle my 5 with the subtraction sign. Okay. Second thing is I'm going to graph. We don't have to build a number line. That's nice. I'm going to start at 0, go to my first integer, which is -4. This one is showing I'm going to go left 5 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I end there. And ladies and gentlemen, I write down my answer. -9. Okay, questions? Questions?
For all of these problems, you go left, right? Because we're subtracting?
We'll talk about that in just a little while. Okay, that's a great question, but we have one more other type of problem to do. Well, take a look at number 3, right? We have a +5 and a -7. So that means you're going right 5, left 7. See? As you circle it, you'll be able to visualize it and know it will just tell you right off the bat. Okay, last question. We have one more problem to do.
Number 8, they're both negative.
Okay, that's a great question because that's the next one we're doing. So here we go. All right, guys, let's take a look at problem number 8. Problem number 8 does look a little different, so that's why I want to make sure I go over this. Okay, we have -13 minus a -2. Now, before we even start, let's go ahead and we'll build our number line. Okay, I'll start at 0. If you want to, you can just label every fifth one. So -1, 2, 3, 4, -5, -6, 7, 8, 9, -10, -11, 12, 13, 14, -15. Okay, I can extend it if I want to in just a bit. Okay, here we go. So I'm about to circle my integers. However, we'll call this step star, because this is the first thing you need to watch out for. This is something that's going to pop up a lot this school year when you're talking about negative integers. Okay? Now, there is a math rule, a property, that says subtracting a negative integer, like -2, is the same as adding its opposite, like adding a +2. Okay? Now, instead of you memorizing that rule right now, here's what I'm going to teach you. Okay? Maybe you've heard of this before. This is what a lot of people call a double negative. All right, double negatives basically are a subtraction sign next to a negative sign. Okay, so here's how we're going to clear the double negative, and this is the step star. This is our reminder. Take the subtraction and the negative sign, connect them, and create a big plus sign. I took my subtraction and my negative signs and made a big plus sign. Now here's a nice simple rule that you need to do. Remember when you do this. If you do that and it goes through a number, it's not a double negative. So for example, if you have something like -2 minus 1, a lot of people go, oh, that's a double negative, negative, negative. And here's what they do. Okay? That's not a double negative because you just went through a number. Okay? So I'll just kind of scribble that out. So you can go through a set of parentheses, but that's about it. So here's what we're going to do. We just have a double negative. We make it into a big plus sign. Now, ladies and gentlemen, everything else is exactly the same. So we could say step 1, circle them. So I circle my -13. Now this is a little weird, right? But I'm going to circle a +2. Okay? Step 2 is I'm going to graph. So here we go. From 0 to -13 goes my first arrow. So -10, 11, 12, 13. There's our -13. +2, remember positive or an addition means go right. So I go right twice. So from that spot I go 1, 2, and there's my ending spot. And that line right there, if you don't know, then maybe number the number line. That is -11, and that's of course what we can call step 3. All right, so that is subtraction of integers using a number line.